Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the most recent episode of the North versus South podcast featuring myself, State, and my co-host, Heath. Heath, how are you, pal?
I am on top of the world, buddy. And you know why. And hopefully
Yeah,
the audience knows why, or they will do in a bit.
yeah, they will indeed. Heath, you bet correctly on his team to lose 2-1 and profited from their demise. So Heath is very happy for that reason and that reason alone. So yeah, any of you fans out there who are loyal enough to your teams would not bet against them like that. You know, fair play to you. You're real football fans. But he's from a different breed. The Southerners, the treacherous people, they are not loyal to one minuscule, and that is exactly why Heath's happy. Thank you. So
That
yeah,
that that obviously isn't the reason, but I will explain my actions. When I watch Watford and they're in the situation they're in where they're pretty damn awful, I think an educated bet where you hedge your bets against your team sometimes makes the pain go away when you realize your team is not mathematically, but virtually relegated. Depressing, but when you put a bit of money on when they're 1-0 up and they to lose 2-1 and they lose 2-1, I didn't know whether to laugh, whether to cry, whether to celebrate, whether to
counted. You
punch
celebrated.
the
You
wall.
celebrated. People. He's lying. He celebrated because he bragged about it on a WhatsApp message. So he definitely celebrated because there's proof. There is photographic evidence as well, and
Oh, dear.
the people of the pie chart community would back me up on that. So when someone listens to this podcast from there, please back me up on Twitter by just posting a little message saying I can confirm Heath did that. In fact, I could do it myself and just show the message. So there
We'll,
you go,
we'll,
Heath.
we'll,
You
we'll
will be
talk about
outside.
it. We'll talk about this a bit more later on.
You'll be
But
outside.
yeah, that's
Be outside.
obviously not the reason why I'm happy.
Well, you can't be as happy as me, Heathy, because my team got promoted this weekend and we'll be playing Watford next season now. We won 2-0 away at Gillingham, relegating Gillingham, an added bonus. We took them to town, won 2-0. And again, the only downside, we didn't win the title, but, Wigan have probably slightly deserved it over us. And it was good to see MK Dons putting 5 past Plymouth for not getting promoted.
That
Love
I
it.
did see a couple of things on social media about Rotherham. One was how someone had a video of all Rotherham fans pointing for the guy to pass to someone on the edge of the box to score the second goal, which was
Mm.
pretty amusing. And obviously he played the right pass and the guy kind of hit it in the near
Yeah.
post, which is a really good finish.
Have you
Um,
have you seen you've seen the film Mean Machine, right?
yes.
And it's the second goal where the two prison pundits are shouting at Trojan to pass it, like pass it, pass the fucking ball. And then eventually Trojan does pass it the right person and he buries it in the goal. No, it was an exact replica of that movie. It had it right
And
there.
did you see the other bit on social media where someone had picked up on a chap who ran on the pitch about, well, one of your last massive wins to get promoted or something like that, going back to like 2003 or something like that, and they posted it saying, oh, hold on, that's the same chap who was celebrating the other day. And you can see he's obviously putting a bit of weight and stuff, but
Yeah.
he's right at the front running onto the pitch with the players the same as last
Hey,
time.
I tell you what, I was like, me and my old man were watching it on the telly, and I was just like, oh, there, thinking, this doesn't look good. We're just pitch invaded. A team that's got relegated at their place. They're probably outnumbering us 2 or 3 to 1 or something. Our Rotherham lads have not been the smartest here. Bad move. And you saw like when they got to halfway line each, there was a little bit of pointing in that, and I thought things are going to kick off here. But luckily, it sort of calmed down and everything. The Rotherham lads were picked up by the fans, the ones who wanted to stay out there and celebrate like that. A lot of the other wiser Rotherham players legged it inside, and I don't blame them because they were about to be mobbed. But yeah, no, it was crazy. I mean, you struggle to stop pitch invasions because let's be honest, the security don't get paid for that sort of thing. Really, they get paid pittance, and they're not trained to deal with all that. But when your team does it away from them, you're always a little bit worried about that. look forward to next season's relegation now. So yeah, all good. Ever the optimist.
Going into the new season with full optimism.
Yes, definitely. Definitely so. But yeah, but I suppose since I've that's my glory done for the season, I guess we best get on to the game week review just to make those aware. I can only pick from the 10 most northern teams in the Premier League. I've got Norwich, Wolves, and Leicester, and everyone above there. And then Heath's got the 10 most southern teams. So he's got Aston Villa, and then everybody who is then basically M25 and lower. Those are the 10 teams that we can both pick from. So Heath, tell us about your week. I have a sneaky feeling it might have been a good one.
It was a good one, mate. It was a good one indeed. I think that the way that this season has gone, it's got to this point where I feel a bit of a fraud right now, but I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I got my captain spot on this week. Obviously, as you can imagine, Southern team. Realistically, if you've got a Southern team, you've not got Heung-min Son, then you're really not really that smart. So he was not only in my team, but he was my captain. He got a massive 38 points, and that was the difference between the two teams, really, between my team and State's team. I'm not going to sit here right now and claim to be a genius. You can say to me that you think that maybe I am one, given that, we've had...
I'm not going to say that.
Anyway, I'll crack on with my team. So Emi Martinez, he got a clean sheet as expected against Norwich, and he got an extra point for saves. So he got 7 points. My Chelsea defenders, it was a bit of a letdown, really. They're going away to Everton. Obviously, the fireworks must have kept them up. Azpilicueta, Alonso, both the 1 point. James with 2. James has been such a disaster for me in this part of the season. In fact, I actually think he could be the villain of my season, because I don't think I've really owned him when he's done well this year. Maybe once or twice, but I've captained him a couple of times and it's not worked out. But anyway, yeah, so he just got 2 points. The Chelsea defenders, rubbish. Walker Peters just a 1 point. Obviously, Crystal Palace getting that late winner to basically get Walker Peters down from 2 to 1 point. Then obviously I'm not going to go through my midfield. I'll leave that to last. Obviously, Dennis, useless. What a terrible. I did text State saying my options were Dennis or Watkins. I went for Dennis. What was I thinking? Honestly, I felt like I was trying to save some money for next week, but I was
gearing on. Obviously, I was going, yeah, Dennis is the right pick, definitely.
Yeah, silly boy. But Harold Kane, ultimately, the guy is. I'd say that he's obviously doing very well, but it's kind of like probably a slight anticlimax with Kane, because they're scoring a lot of goals and he's only getting assists or a goal, here and there. So he's like
not doubling up, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And I can understand people's frustrations, because unlike my team, obviously I can afford to have Son and Kane, because I don't have players like Salah and De Bruyne and Fernandes or whatever. But the fact is that most people will be choosing between Kane and Son, and because there aren't many good strikers out there, most would have gone for Kane, and they're probably quite frustrated out right now, which is fair enough. But yeah, then I've got Saka with 4 points, Ward-Prowse with 5. He got an assist for the Southampton goal, and Kulusevski,
you're on the bench.
Yeah, came on 2 assists. He was one of my transfers. I brought him in for Eriksen.
Got a bonus point for playing 35 minutes.
I know. And yeah, I brought Kulusevski in for Eriksen, and I brought in Dennis for Lacazette. And like I say, I could have gone for Watkins. I don't know. I guess it is what it is. But the main man, Son, 38 points, and it was unbelievable. 75 points, obviously, because I took 2 transfers. That's 71 points. Then my bench was actually pretty healthy too, because I had Foster with 2 points, Tony with 2 points. I'm still really happy I've got Tony, actually, because I still think he looked pretty lively against Man United. But Bowen, he got a goal, but got booked as well. There you go. Yeah, so he got a goal, got booked, 6 points. And Luca Din came from nowhere. He came from absolutely nowhere and got 8 points. against Norwich.
2 bonus points. He didn't even get an assist.
It's
I
crazy.
mean, what, sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Sometimes that bonus point scoring system, like you see some games where like someone scores a goal and gets an assist, but it's absolutely shit and gets 3 bonus points, and some Luka Ding doesn't get any goals or assists, and there was 2 goals scored and he gets 2 bonus points. I just don't get it sometimes. Really don't.
No, but the thing about Luka Din is that he was a red before this game week started. So it was a bit of a miracle that he came back, and it couldn't have come at a better time because I think Villa have got a double game week next week. So my team's looking pretty decent for next week too, but we'll get to that later. But overall, yeah, so 70, 75 points, obviously 71. I mean, yeah, I can't really say any more because I don't want to give away State's team. So State, let's hear what you've got.
I don't really have much to say about my team other than utter shit. Been bummed by a man called Jurgen Klopp and also Pep Guardiola. Thank you, Jurgen. Thank you, Pep. You have really done a number on me this game week. Probably, well, there's no probably about it. You've done a number on me, and throwing fucking Brendan Rodgers in there as well, a toss pot. What a set of twats a lot of them are. So yeah, it's a bad week. Big red arrows for me. I've not hit the average points by far. I've had a mare like you did the previous week, basically. 29 points in total. Edison 6 points, clean sheet and goal. Joel Matip, I brought him in, for 6 points for Van Dijk. I did a transfer there. There was a reason behind that. Collins got 1 point for Burnley. He played 90 minutes, but they conceded a goal to Watford. God, who does that? He also got yellow carded. Cancelo, 5 points. Got a yellow card. Got a clean sheet again. No assist though. Brandon Williams, big 1 point for Norwich. He only came in because Trent didn't play. So obviously that had to change. Midfield, big 3 points from Anthony Gordon. 0 points from fucking Kevin De Bruyne because he fucking didn't play. 2 points. My captain, Mo Salah, he came on for 21 minutes and got a point. So I got big 2 points from my skipper this week. Well done there, Mo. You've done the job. And then up front, Pookie 2 points. Sam Maximin 2 points. Gelhardt came on 1 point, which meant my bench was McGovern, no points. Cornet didn't play, so no points. Trent didn't play. Madison didn't play. I've got absolutely ruined this week. 29 points. Shit is not even the word to use. It would be a much more offensive word to use about my team this week. It's lost me a lot of things. Lost me my top of the table spot in the head-to-head to Heath. He's also now surpassed me on the overall score for the first time, I think, all season, which is not good. I got knocked out of the North versus South Cup as well. On top of that, I think, so it's just been a bad week all around on that one. It's just, not good on the fantasy. Really not good.
I didn't know about the cup.
yeah. It's all gone Pete Tong. Everything's gone Pete Tong. So I think, this is a time for reflection now, Keith. Time for reflection. And the reflection is Jurgen Klopp and Pep are going to be on the snipers list.
You had a bye through to the next round as well.
I know.
I had to play a game before that. I didn't even know.
Well, there you go. But it's not good. So I've had a nightmare, and the nightmare is very, very real, and it's called Game Week 35.
On a positive note, mate, because all of your players got rotated all in the same week, it means that you got a good chance they won't be rotated this game week.
Yeah, you'd hope so. You'd hope so. You just can't trust any of these dickheads anymore, can you? And the trust when you lose the trust, that's it. It's all gone. Once the trust is gone, what's there left to do? So we'll have to see. But I've got some plans for the next game week, and we'll see what happens. I'm a bit more confident because once the Champions League fixtures are out of the way today and tomorrow, they don't have another Champions League European game now until after the season's finished. The FA Cup finals not until sort of another 3 weeks away. You're then looking at they're going to play their best players, all these teams, because they've got 3 or 4 games in a row, which they don't have to worry about the European games. They can just look and get the wins, and some of them have got tough games, so they're not going to look to drop points, hopefully. So we'll see. But yeah, bad week at the office. Thank you very much.
it's really exciting now because, like I say, all your players are going to play next game week. There's so many doubles that who knows, but it does mean now you have to win this game week coming up. You have to, because if you don't, then it means that you're going to have to win the 2 after that just to draw it. So there's a lot of pressure on this game week, mate. You have to put a lot of time and effort into it, and we'll talk about that in a bit.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I've got plans. Big plans.
I can see it in your eyes right now. You want to move on to our next feature, and we will do that. This is the Michael Keane inspired shit list, where we pick a maximum of 5 things, players, anything, VAR, referees, weather, each other, anything. This has pretty much been the feature, has basically stuck with us all year round because we've both had a lot to complain about. And isn't that the British way, right? Just to have a moan.
Oh, yeah.
No matter where you're from in England or the UK, it's north, south, east, west, doesn't matter. We all have a bit of a moan.
100%. Cannot fault a moan. It's all there. It's all good.
Okay, yeah. So let's hear this shit list.
Jurgen Klopp is on there. He's number one. He's the number one choice. Is Jurgen. He fecked up my team. He fecked it up my life. I captained Salah. I had Trent. This was all meant to be perfect. Clean sheet bonus for Trent, maybe an assist. Big Mo grabbing a couple of goals. Liverpool, getting a decent win against Newcastle. In the end, they just about got over the line with their system, and I was not happy with it. So Klopp's just on there. He's just screwed me. I've not enjoyed that type of scene from him. And Pep's followed him as well. It's like, oh, well, we don't want to do this to you. We'll do this to you for the 12:30 game. And then at the 5:30 game, we'll fuck you up again. Cheers, Pep. Oh, great, pal. I'm so happy you decided to do that to me. Just while things are getting bad. The only good thing Pep did was he played Foden, played Diaz, and I've got them in my draft team. So I've had a good draft week. My draft team's at like 60 odd points. Cheers for that, but I'm not interested in that right now. So them two are on there, and so that's fun with that. To be fair, a lot of my anger's just vented towards them two because they really did just shaft me, and I'm not happy with them.
Rodgers?
Brendan. Yeah, I mean, not playing Madison. I should have seen it, known it were happening, and it's not as big of a deal as the other one, but I'm still there thinking, Brendan, I don't think it's working for Leicester by doing this rotation thing at all. They're getting turned over by teams, and it's like they've got a big game obviously against Roma. Hopefully get knocked out of that, to be honest with you. I would love to see them get knocked out and then they could focus on playing some players the next games. They've got 2 very winnable games. They've got Everton at home. Everton are shite away from home. And they've got Norwich at home, and Norwich is just shite in general. So the next 2 games, come on, you got to be playing them. Get some fantasy points on the board. Look at finishing your season strongly and trying to get that sort of as high as a possible finish. You get a few extra million for finishing and maybe a place or 2 higher in the Premier League, don't you? So I think maybe you should do that. So yeah, Brendan's on there. So it's managers this week. No players on my shit list really this week because they can't help being shit. Some of them, that's just part of it. My squad's not about Sam Maximin, Gelhardt, getting me loads of points. Brandon Williams, they're just they're squad players. They don't play. Trent's about, Madison's about. So yeah, that's it. That's it for my shit list. Probably it's not as lengthy as normal, but the anger is all purely towards managers. Really strong towards you. You need to up your game, boys. What about you, Heath?
I feel that. I look at your situation, like I say, I feel like this is going to be the last time you have to worry about rotation. I've been very, very fortunate with the rotation. It's worked in my favour on many occasions. And I know that with Spurs, those guys aren't going to get rotated, especially when they've got something to play for. So, and they're not in any cups or anything. So yeah, I've been very, very fortunate. But my shit list is pretty basic. There's no players on mine either. My shit list is 2 football clubs who both play in yellow, who have both effectively either been officially relegated or virtually relegated. in Norwich City and Watford. I think that it's a real pity that both have gone down the way they have. It's similar to how it felt with Fulham last season and West Brom. It just felt like they just never really got properly going. And all it's going to take is Norwich to get a point in the next 4 games. And I think Watford will finish bottom, because I just can't see where a win's coming from. They couldn't beat Burnley. They couldn't beat Leeds at home. You know, they've really struggled, and the fixtures coming up aren't that much easier. So I really do genuinely believe that, unfortunately, I think my club's going to finish bottom. But at the same time, I mean, what it does, it adds a little bit of excitement for next season. You know, I try and go to as many games in Championship as I can, and I try and go to some new away games that I've not been to. So that's exciting for me personally. It's a difficult one. You've got the same situation as I have, you know, with Watford, with Rotherham, where they're miles better than anyone in League One. They come up to the Championship and struggle. So I'll be lying to you if I said that I thought Watford would get relegated this season. I really genuinely thought that we'd made our mistakes the first year round, and I thought we would stay up this year round, because I just thought we would buy the right players in January. We've never really put in a run of games, though. That's the problem. We've got results in certain games where you wouldn't expect us. We've got 6 points out of Aston Villa, 4 points out of Man United. We could get a double over Everton if we beat them at home. So it's like, you know, it's just really odd, you know. And then, you know, like I say, we can't. We've been awful against the teams down the, you know, the bottom half of the table, really. So we 100% deserve to go down. There's only 2 teams in the Premier League that 100% have been by far the worst. And yeah, I mean, I guess the shit list will have to include that other team that joins us. Fingers crossed. It's one of those bigger clubs out of the 3. Who are you thinking, mate, right now? If you had to actually put money on it, who would you go with?
Speaking with Leeds fans, I think they all seem to be like consigning themselves to relegation. They're all shitting themselves, to be fair, and I can see why, because you know, you look at the running, and you know they've got a much tougher running, haven't they, of Leeds? You know, look who they've got left. You know, I mean, game week 36, Leeds have got Arsenal away and Chelsea at home in the double game week, whereas, well, Everton have got Watford away and Leicester away. Now, Everton's away form's not great, but Leicester and Watford aren't exactly in great form. And Leicester, you know, you could fancy having to do that. So, you know, even by then, you know, it could be done with. Burnley got Villa at home. Burnley in good form. Villa have been in poor form, barring beating Norwich. But let's be honest, I think every man and his dog's beating Norwich at the moment. You know, so, I mean, it's between them 3, as we said. Next game week, Leeds have got a big one at home to Brighton, haven't they? You know, but you know, again, Everton have got a double header, both at home, 2 games at home against Brentford and Palace, and Frank's got them winning games at home, and not just against shite either. Well, Man United are shite, but he's beating the better teams. He's beating Chelsea. He's beating Man United. They should have got some out of the Man City game at home. To be fair, should have Everton, and they were much better at Anfield as well recently. So you know, he seems to have got them set up in a good way, and you know, the sort of battling hard to sort of stay up, and they have got the players of Everton to cause teams problem. You know, Richarlison finally getting a goal there. You know, we know on his day what he can do. You know, the young lad Gordon, Damari Gray, you know, Devon, you know, exciting players, but you know, they work hard, but that means Chelsea can do something on the break a bit more. So I think, you know, Leeds are, at the moment, I would say Leeds are the favourite to go down. The old points on the board thing, I'm not seeing that, especially there. But I mean, I think, yeah, Leeds fans are definitely worried about it. You know, they've got some big games coming up. They've got Brighton at home, and then they've got Brentford away last game of the season, whereas Burnley have got Newcastle at home. Yeah, they've got to play Spurs and Villa in a double game week for them. They've got Villa at home. Yeah, they've got Villa coming up twice, haven't they, Burnley? So, yeah, Leeds are the ones I'd be worried about more than anyone by the last game of the season. They could already be down if results go against them, basically, especially if they don't pick up anything out of the Arsenal and Chelsea games. They could be in deep trouble.
I personally think that Burnley are going to go. And it's not anything to do with the fact that, yep, they got a great result against us. But the fact is that they were dreadful. We were dreadful. And the fact is, the only reason why they beat us was because they were playing a much worse team than anyone else in the Premier League. So I will say that Burnley, I think that they'll be the ones. I just think that Leeds and Everton, I just feel like they'll get results. Everton will get results at home. That their home form will be enough to keep them up. And I think that Leeds will probably get enough points from a random. They'll beat Arsenal, or they'll beat someone out of the blue, because they have that in their locker. They've got some couple of very, very good players who can turn things very quickly around for them, and they have like the fans. I think Burnley, even though they've got the momentum at the moment, I just think that it will turn around next week, and you'll see you'll see the two bigger clubs getting themselves out of it somehow, which we don't want. We want them to get relegated, especially Everton. I mean, I don't really have the. It's been nice to see Leeds in the Premier League, and to be honest, maybe they've had one season too many. But no, it was good. They were one of the best teams last year, without a doubt. Everton, just can't stand them. I think, just seeing what they did before that Chelsea game was just, should put them on the shit list, really. But
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about them. But yeah.
Yerry Mina could go on it. Yerry Mina.
Oh, God, that's disgraceful. Yeah. What an absolute disgrace. I mean, I remember he got all kind of in England's face when we played Colombia in the World Cup. Yeah. And I remember thinking, oh, this guy's got he's a bit of a character, and he'd be interesting to see what he's like at Everton. I mean, when he's been at Everton, he's been injured most of the time, but when he has played, he's a nuisance, isn't he? But he's certainly not a gentleman on the pitch, is he? But that was dreadful. That was dreadful. Another bit of play acting. But yeah, again, not going to waste my time on that.
Fair enough. Well, good, mate. I like it. Different type of shit list. And I think, that's good. Good to see some teams there. And well, like you said, we'll see who else might join that by the end of the season, really, to be honest with you. So, yeah. That takes us on to the North versus South League and Cup update. Heath, can you tell us what's been going on in the league and the cup?
I'll start with the league, and I'll get straight to it, really. At the moment, El Badger Poopers is miles adrift of High Tech FC. It looks like he's going to get the wooden spoon for this season. Quick mention for Harrison Copley and Eddie Moran. They're now both even on points. So they're mates. They've both got 1,511 points. And they're in 27th, 28th, respectively. It's a lovely little tussle between the two of them. Joe Hadley's trying to get himself out of relegation, but he's about 200 points behind the next person, so it's going to be unlikely.
Can I say one thing? Has Harrison taken on board our Michael Keane shit list and got him in his squad for that reason, or is he?
Yeah, and Michael Keane's obviously got him the points that he needs by not playing. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the case. But yeah, it looks like it's a lovely little rivalry between the two of them that will go into the last kind of 3 game weeks of the season, just like ours, mate. Then another mention for Big Ben Marion. I think the fact is that he's the only person who's come close to my score this week. My assumption is, just looking at his team, he's probably got he's got Keane as captain, but his team have had an absolute stormer. So he's got Laporte, Robertson. He's got, we'll get to him. He's got Saka, Jota, Son, all good points. Watkins, Keane as captain. So he's got plenty of points. And then he's got our man all the way back from our second podcast, headlined our second podcast. This was Josh Brownhill, who was mistakenly called Marcus Brownhill for the whole podcast. And then we realized his name was Josh Brownhill. And we had a little laugh about it. It was a bit amateur hour, but he was the one who scored the winning goal, got 3 bonus points, and got Burnley those really important 3 points to get him out of the relegation zone. So yeah, he had an absolute, I mean, he deserves more credit than I do, because I just had one really good player. He had a team full of good players. But the theme in this week is that the southern teams have done pretty well, basically. And then we go to the top. Mike Matthews has tracked down Connor Tobin. He's now 3 points away from second place. He had a big week, 59 points. Connor with just 27. Let's have a Connor. What went wrong? He had
less than me.
Yeah, so he had Salah's captain, Sterling. He had Havertz, Werner. If you'd have seen his team at the beginning of the
Got done
season, where he's got
by Klopp roulette.
yeah, but he's had a stinker there. Mike Matthews, let's have a look at him.
Klopp's destroyed him.
Yeah, Mike Matthews, 59 points. He had Keane as captain. He had Son in his team. Saka, Van Dijk. He had Holgate and Taylor as well. So happy days for Mike Matthews. And then Kevin Barnard, Crucible FC, still top of the league. And yeah, I think, to be honest, I'll be surprised if he doesn't go on and actually win it now. He's got a decent lead. He's got 50 points. So he took a 4-point hit. He had Kulusevski, Kane as captain, Cash at the back with Laporte and Robertson, Saka, Coutinho. Well, Coutinho just got a clean sheet point, but that was about it. But yeah, he did all right, 50 points. And like I say, he's now kind of got what it looks like, 70-point lead on Connor Tobin in second. So it looks like he's going to go out, hold out and win the first ever North v South league. Now, we're going to quickly move on to the Cup and let you know what happened. All right, so we'll start from the beginning. This is in the round of 32. So Connor Tobin beat Jason by 78-73. Then we had El Badger Poopers got an away draw against McGinn and Tonic, lost 33-26. Then we had, oh mate, this is where you've gone. First round, Simon Jones, Warbones 62. James Simons, Northern Super Kings State is out 47. Oh, that's a big shock. Big shock, mate. But yeah, obviously focusing on the league and rotating the team around for that, right? Then Braver Leverkusen, he had a home tie against Brad Utteridge's 4-0 a tie now and lost. Then the big man, Heath, Southern All-Stars, comfortable win against you, Petr Cech yourself, 70-31.
Another Southern team. That's the full Southern team, is you, Petr Cech.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Then we got Ben Marion. I mean, the form that this guy is showing is incredible. Last week, 101 versus Sean Convey's 37. I mean, that is a spanking and a half. Then we had a tie between Zoe Maria and Paul Pond, the Great Deal and Dirty Sancho. And Dirty Sancho sneaked through with a tiebreak due to conceding the fewest goals, which they make it up as they go along.
Well, no, so it goes by most goals scored in a game week. If that's tied, then it goes to fewest goals conceded in the game week, and then it's virtual coin toss. So I'm guessing they obviously that their teams had scored the same amount of goals, so it was down to the clean sheets or the lesser goals conceded.
Well, I mean, I think you've had a raw deal there, Zoe Maria, but fair enough. I won't say this next one, all right? The next one was the biggest shock of the game week, but Bailey Mark beat Joe Hadley. John Rogerson, easy win against Pavlos Lossi. Then we had a tight one between Ryan Bennett and Ian Helliwell. Bennett coming out the winner. Chris Harrigan lost to Summit Deer. Oh, Summit Deer, we haven't spoken about him for a while, but he used to be one of the leaders at the very beginning. Mike Matthews, I mean, realistically, he would have been disappointed if he didn't get a win against Sam Diamond, who's near the bottom of the league. Mike obviously looking for second place. Sean Boyle with an away win against Leone Cameron. And then, the tie of the round, Harrison Copley versus Eddie Moran. Eddie Moran came out on top, went through to the next round. Ashton Horner got a bye through to the next round. And then the shock of the round was FPL Gluttony, Veldora Tempest with 69 to the current leader, who's 70 points ahead, Crucible FC, Kevin Barnard, went out in the first round. So there's hope for everyone else. Anyway, the next round. Okay, so this is the round of 16. So after such a emphatic win by Veldora Tempest, he then goes and places third in the league, Mike Matthews, and he's out. Mike Matthews wins 59-30, and obviously Valdora's had two very difficult games there, and he'll be happy with his first round win, but disappointed he couldn't go any further. Then Ben Marion keeps that form up. He's beaten Bailey Mark. He's through to the quarterfinals. Simon Jones, the one that you're currently waving your fist at right now.
You little bagger, you.
He's going to beat John
I'll
Rogerson.
get you.
And a tight one between Summit Deer, but unfortunately he's gone and he's out to Simon Dent.
Go on, Dentos. Go on,
McGinn and Tonic. Paul Pond, who just about narrowly got through against O Maria, he goes and absolutely hammers Ashton Horner, who, to be fair,
that's what you get for getting a buy.
Exactly.
Players were obviously undercooked.
You can't have a buy in every round, Ashton. And then, well, I mean, the big man, he's working out at the right time to hit form. So I do call myself the big man and talk about myself in the third person. I am that sad. But anyway, the Southern All-Stars beat Brad Utteridge's 4-nails at tie now.
Yeah, go on, Heath.
Then we had a very crazy score between Eddie Moran, who's fourth from bottom, against Connor Tobin, he's having a good season. Eddie Moran, Eddie Moran won by 2 points. So, I mean, we're going to have a true underdog story here. Then we had Ryan Bennett winning by 4 points on Sean Boyle. So the quarterfinals as they stand are Southern All-Stars, Heath versus the Dirty Sancho, Paul Pond. McGinn and Tonic, Simon Dent versus M&M, Mike Matthews. That's a juicy tie, that one. Spud United, Ryan Bennett up against our man, Maid Marion.
Form man.
Versus King Gary 11.
I work with Ryan. I work with him, and good lad. I've told him that you've got the informed man at the moment. He's going to be.
He's got to be pretty nervous, isn't he, going into that tie?
Yeah, he's probably not expecting much from it, to be fair. But I think everyone wants Mr. Eddie Moran, King of the South, to win, though, don't we?
Well, this is it. The last quarterfinal are the two that have basically shocked the world. Yes, the world. Eddie Moran, who somehow has made it, who's having an absolute, somehow got through to the next round with 29 points. He faces your nemesis, Simon Jones of Warbones. And I got to be honest, Eddie Moran, he's King of the South. So I'd like to see him progress. No offense, Si. But yeah, it should be good. And I think State and I did say that we were going to get some kind of prize for the cup winner. I mean, I could be bringing it home, mate.
Not you.
I could be bringing it home.
You do get a prize, pal. Sorry, it's not. The prize does not go out to the league administrators, the league and cup administrators.
Literally, I'm gonna come off this, and I'm gonna give Dirty Sancho a text and try and get in his head so he overthinks it and makes a -8 or something. Hopefully he listens to this after he does the -8. So I've got a better chance of getting through to the semi. But yeah, so guys, the league's been brilliant all season, but now we've got the cup and the league. I mean, there's no excuses now. You've got to keep on top of your teams. If you're still in the cup, you really have to understand that there's one hell of a prize coming your way if you win this cup. And there's only 8 people left in it. So good luck.
Big time.
But good work all round, guys. Absolutely loving it. That was the North versus South Mini League update, and obviously the mini cup update. And now we move on to our next feature. So our podcast review, that's come back after having a week off last week. And this week we looked at a very, very interesting podcast called The FPL Experiment. If you have not listened to this podcast before, just to give you a quick idea of what the FPL Experiment's all about, this is 3 chaps who basically have decided they're going to pick one team between the 3 of them. That's pretty much the gist of it. And they kind of come up with ways to make their transfers. And at the end of it, they revel or whatever, I guess, with their team. I
think they've all got one of their own teams as well. And then just done a joint one as well, I think. But yeah, this is mainly talking about that experimental team. So yeah, no, definitely.
State, do you want to kick us off of what you thought of this podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, I've enjoyed listening to it. A lot of the podcasts we've listened to, they've been probably similar lengths to our own. Been between an hour and a half. These guys do a short, sharp, faster sort of one. Anything between 30 to 45 minutes generally. They don't tend to go much longer than that. Probably because they might kill each other. To be fair, with some of the debates that they have, if we go much longer, one of us is going to drive over to the other house and smash their head in. Who knows? Football factory style. But I tell you what, now really good, really interesting. It's good to hear like how you go about sort of, you got three people trying to sort of figure out a team. I've listened to a fair few of their episodes. I mean, one of the episodes I listened to was a fantastic one. It was on March the 9th, and it was a rant at the start by Adam, who sort of who sort of posts it, and it was absolutely brilliant. Basically, just slating the other two about this wild card thing, and they ended up playing the wild card that week, and he was just like, he had an absolute meltdown at them. It was fantastic. It was ranting of the northern highest quality. So fair play to you, Adam, on that. Yeah, no, I think they got good knowledge. They obviously know a bit about it. But I tell you what's good about it. I think if you're a casual player, you'll like it. I think if you're a serious player, you should still like it because there's great banter going on there. But it's just good to see that these guys make wrong decisions and bad decisions, just like me and you do, Heath, and just like pretty much most people in FPL do. We all make bad decisions. We all think, oh, this is going to go well. They did the wild card and they put Willock in. And I remember a mate of mine doing that the same week and captaining him. And because I think he had a double game week or something. And it was absolutely atrocious. But hearing someone else do that, I was just like, I told my mate about it. I was like, oh, you'll like this podcast. Go have a listen to it and let me know what your thoughts are. He comes back to me and he goes, you did that on purpose. We were talking about Willock, didn't you? And I went, damn right I did. You fucking wasted half an hour of your life just to give you that shit. But nah, they're really good. I think, yeah, there's really good banter, some decent knowledge in there. And I like some of the little mini competitions they've set up between themselves. Like they all choose a differential for each game week. They don't necessarily put them in their experiment team, but they do that to give you an idea. And then they sort of see who's sort of done better each week. So a little bit of competitive edge there. So they've got their own team, I think, each. But this experimental team, it's interesting. You don't get that. And it's difficult to do because you're never gonna you're all gonna have different views and different takes, but they use a good voting system. If the majority gets the decision, that player tends to go in. But they obviously, don't just make willy-nilly transfers every week. They're still trying to sort of, do it right. And if they don't need to make a transfer one week, they don't do that. But I think, yeah, decent. What were your thoughts, Steve?
I love this idea. Obviously, whenever we do these reviews, we always come back to our own to see why we chose what we did. Right? And the one thing that we really tried to get on board was some kind of niche. I'm sure I say this, sound like a broken record, but I just love the idea that FPL is, at the end of the day, is a competition. We're all against each other, we're all competing to finish top. I mean, realistically, there's only one person who can do that, but I love the togetherness on this. They make like you say, that you hear every single ounce of their thoughts towards each and individual player. And I just like the idea of how they go about making their decisions. I think the idea that they can get a podcast out there for under 40 minutes is really, really kind of intriguing. Yes. And you picked out something that amused you. What really amused me was one of the chaps was home alone and his missus had gone away. So he was talking about how he doesn't spend any money on food, which is so what I do. And never go anywhere near the shops when my missus goes away. And the idea of a freezer tapas where you just basically have whatever's left in the freezer and mix it up. I don't know. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but I guess I've done that before when I was younger, but I never thought to think it. Yeah. So give it such a classy name,
Yeah, it was out of the cellar, wasn't he? He was allowed in the front lounge, the front living room, wasn't he? I think for the first time since Christmas, he said.
That's right. But what I liked about that, just picking that out specifically, is the fact that these guys are friends, they're mates. They're not just talking about FPL. They are having a bit of a laugh about what's going on in their social situation. They are talking about external things. And I think that realistically, sometimes some of the podcasts maybe we've done have been a bit heavy on FPL. And let's not forget, these are FPL podcasts. So of course, they're every right to. But personally, I like the idea that these guys are giving us a bit more than FPL and they're talking about themselves and you get to know what they're like as people. And they seem like good guys. I didn't quite know too much about this podcast before you picked this one out. And when I heard about it, I thought, oh, I wonder what the experiment actually is, And now I've listened to it. Love the idea. You can go in so many different directions with it. And yeah, I think they've done a really, really good job of presenting it in the way they have. I just can't understand how they make these big decisions with the chips, like how do they get to that point, where they've all
Yeah.
agreed to do their free hit or
Well,
bench boost or something like that? Because there's such
well,
big moments in the season,
that's the funny one. One of the ones said 9th of March episode. If you want to know how they played the wild card, yeah, you got to go on that, and you just got to piss yourself laughing at Adam's rant. It's fantastic because they got briefly mentioned or something on their WhatsApp group, obviously about it, and then I think it then turned out on the Saturday said they were going to do the wild card or something, or one of them did, but one of them was out, so he couldn't get involved in it. And the Friday night there were two of them out, and they were just like it was just an absolute sort of mess. It sounded like, but it was just brilliant to see them sort of getting to that point. I think so. Yeah, it was fun to see, to be honest with you.
There's another theme here with this podcast, just like all the others, that they know their stuff. They really do, and they know these players inside out. It's definitely one of those things where you can't really
Yeah,
get away from that. Really, I guess if you're going to if you're going to create some kind of content when it comes to certain topics, you have to know your stuff. But these guys, they really know their stuff. They've got a lot of common sense between all of them. And
yeah,
I, whenever it was quite interesting because I was kind of like catching up with the last four, and I was kind of listening to them, remembering the same similar-ish decisions about getting excited by someone like Havertz or Werner, and then now you look at it and go, oh God, or James, someone like that. I mean, I'm just
yeah.
naming
Well,
Chelsea players, but
that's it. Yeah. No, that's it though. That's the beauty of them because there's three of them as well. There's a 100% chance that one of the three's probably said something that you're thinking of, and they are, and it's you just whether you make that decision now, they've got to sort of get buy-in from someone else to make that decision as well. Generally speaking, I think it puts your mind a bit at ease as an FPL player as well. Like, it's good that you see it, you hear, and you seeing these things, and that's what's good about podcasts. I think you get to, if you listen to them, you get to hear that other people are having these same deliberations that you are. Oh, what's going to screw me over on Pep roulette or two shell roulette or clock roulette this next week? They talk about that stuff. Is Werner that sort of person to go to? If you go back, they were all talking about Doherty, then doing great for Spurs, and then giving him the kiss of death, and he gets injured, and that's him done for the season. It's all these things get said, and they're all things that a lot of FPL players think, and it's just those little sort of percentages add up to whether your team might do well that week or not do well that week. And I think it's good, and yeah, it's just nice, easy listening. I flew through, I can't remember how many I've listened to be fair on them, but you can just fly through them because they are short, sharp, fast, but you still get plenty of content in there as well. The very direct in terms of what they're going through. They seem to have got their structure and process through pretty nicely as well. Love the old the old high pitched voice for is it for the differential
I
or
think so.
was it
Yeah.
for yeah but yeah, absolutely brilliant. Some balls haven't dropped with that sort of type of voice you'd sometimes think, but yeah, it's a great voice in to put on for that. So, and I think that little sort of thing's quite nice as well. Like, they do a little bit of competitiveness to see what they to add a bit more internal team flavour to it as well, I guess.
Anything you didn't like about it?
Well, I mean, they could probably just add more when you've got three of you there. You could really add a bit more probably to it, I guess. But they obviously like to keep it short, sharp, and sweet, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I think sometimes I'm sure we've had a few episodes where we've gone on a bit longer, but I think they could they don't need to necessarily keep to that sort of under 45, 50 minutes thing. They could push it a bit further. They could add a bit more into it if they wanted to. Most of the episodes I thought about that their structure's the same. I know our structure's the same generally as well, but we sort of mix things up sometimes. Bring a different feature in, take one out, and that. And maybe just sometimes you could just maybe do that every now and then, just for something different to throw in there. That'd be maybe my only sort of my thought process on it. But again, It's not something that I'd say they have to change, but just throwing that something different in for an odd episode here and there, it's quite sometimes nice to put something new in there.
Yeah, no, I completely understand, mate. And I think that when I listen to them, the only thing I would say is that the banter's brilliant. Really enjoyed the banter. I would say that it is. I mean, it is literally just talking, isn't it? Really, it's like that. That is kind of. There's not a huge amount of kind of creative juices that have gone into the podcast, but at the same time, like I say, it's very difficult to do that and still keep it below 40 minutes. So I think that that's probably where they're going to be happy to keep it that way.
Yeah, a good thing because they record Tuesday nights, I think, don't they? They do get some in-game sort of game week plays and comments as well sometimes, which is quite good.
What would you rate this podcast out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I think that's the highest you've scored, isn't it?
did I have I done another?
Oh
9?
no, sorry,
Right.
Juice FPL Juice. You gave a 9 as well, so it's a joint equal.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, this next question seems a bit irrelevant because I'd be surprised if you don't.
Yeah.
But would you recommend it to other
Definitely.
people?
Yeah, and I think it can cover all types as well. So like I said, if you're not massive into your podcast, but you like listening to FPL stuff because it's nice and quick, that's good as well. If you're out at your podcast and you can get through a couple of episodes nearly in a lunch break, so it's or you commute, very very comfortable. So yeah, definitely recommend it.
Nice. And would you listen to it again?
Yeah, I would. I've sort of set reminders for it to remind me to sort of listen to it, on the Wednesday or sort of Thursday, after they've recorded it on the Tuesday. Yeah.
Awesome. I gave FPL Juice 9.5, and I loved that podcast. Right, I've listened to it a few more times since we've done it. It's not going to be able to get 9.5, but I don't think it's that far away. But I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I love the idea. I think they got the guys are very easygoing, kind of guys you just want to go down the pub with and have a chat with about football, fantasy football, whatever. They just seem like decent guys and they know their shit. So I've definitely given it a high score, 8 out of 10 without a doubt. I would 100% recommend it to people. I think that it gives you something that not many other podcasts give you. Because it's short and sweet, it is less is more kind of thing. So it gives you that, a quick conversation about what they think for this game week, and then that's it done. And I think that really does appeal to someone like myself who, like I say, if you already listen to one or two podcasts, you can't do two more if they're quite long, if they go over an hour. So you have to respect the fact that people have a lot of time in their day. And then I'd say, would I listen to it again? I would listen to it again, but I don't think I'd be as enthusiastic to listen to it like I would do for the FPL Juice.
Excellent. Well, hopefully people enjoyed the podcast review this week, and obviously, big hats off to FPL Experiment. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. So, moves us on to our game week preview. Yeah, big game week coming up. Heath, what are the plans?
Mate, it's huge, and the thing for me is that without really, things have just fallen really nicely into place for my team. That I'm now in a situation where I'm looking at it and going, could I take someone out with a double for someone who's got a good single? So it's a really interesting place to be. But basically, I've got at this very moment in time, I've got 10 players playing double games, and then I've got basically this. I should have kept my bench boost for this. This has got bench boost written all over it. So I use it so prematurely, but it is what it is. Anyway, so I've got Martinez in goal. Aston Villa got Burnley away and Liverpool at home. So I'm more confident of having him than Foster with Palace away and Everton at home. I think Watford could keep a clean sheet, but I can't imagine that they would be massively confident right now because they know that they're pretty much down. So I'm going with Martinez. Who knows? He might get a lot of save points against Liverpool and he might get a clean sheet against Burnley. But either way, I'm more confident for him than I am Foster. Then I've got the three Chelsea defenders. I mean, I'm not massively happy with having all three at the back, but again, they're playing Wolves at home and Leeds away. You could see him getting 2 clean sheets if they are disciplined. So I've got Aspilicueta, James, and Alonso. I'd imagine that all three of them will play unless Tuchel starts rotating it around, knowing that they've got third place sewn up. So, I don't think I'm going to make any changes to those guys. To be honest, I'm not really thinking about making actual transfer, but we'll see. Luka Din, like I say, he's come from nowhere. He adds to another player who's got a double game week. So yeah, he's in there at the moment. Then I've got Saka. He's got a double game week. He's got Leeds at home and Spurs away. That Spurs game is going to be huge. And then I've got my Spurs players. So I've got Son, Kulusevski and Kane. Liverpool away, Arsenal at home. Not the easiest fixtures, but Conte just knows how to win those big games. That Liverpool game is also huge. I mean, Spurs have got these 2 games are going to define their season, really, aren't they? Really, I mean, if they have any chance of getting into Champions League, they probably have to get 4 points out of the next 2 games. You would like to think
they could afford to lose to Liverpool as long as they beat Arsenal.
Yeah,
that's the thing for them. It's like because you don't probably not many teams go off and fancy beating Liverpool at the moment. To be fair, yes, Arsenal 2 points ahead of them, so Spurs really do need to try and get some. But to keep themselves in the running, it's a must win against Arsenal because you're gonna think that Arsenal, you fancy them to beat Leeds at home. You fancy Liverpool to beat Spurs, probably. Although Spurs did Liverpool's number in earlier on in the season because Liverpool don't like how Spurs play because Spurs on the counter attack. Conte knows how to do it. Let their Liverpool fullbacks go, then get it in that gap and let the likes of Son, Kulusevski play it, or get it to Kane's feet, and he'll sort of just swill it round the corner. So Spurs did have Liverpool's number in that. I think it was a draw though, wasn't it, at White Hart Lane? But Spurs were definitely the more effective team in that game, to be fair, and created a lot of chances and should have done better and won that game, really. So I think, Liverpool will be mindful of that. But yeah, it's a big match. Like I said, if Spurs lose that game, they've got to go and beat Arsenal, and then they still need Arsenal then to drop some points.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm thinking of maybe making Son captain again because he's had such a good couple of game weeks recently. It's hard to take out someone who's in that much form. I know they're playing Liverpool and Arsenal, but I still can see him scoring in both games, just knowing the kind of player he is. I mean, he does scores happily against Man City, he has scored against Liverpool in the past, can score against the best and the worst teams in the league. So thinking about making him captain. I've just to finish the team, I've got Ward-Prowse currently sitting in there. Emmanuel Dennis is currently in there only because Ward-Prowse, Southampton have got Brentford away, and Emmanuel Dennis of Watford have got Palace away and Everton at home. So I don't look at Dennis and think, oh, Watford are going to get results here. I just think that I wonder if Dennis is going to put a lot of. The reason why I brought him in was I was thinking, is he going to be really going for it to try and get a good move in the summer, a stand out, or has he done enough? I don't know. Maybe his agent's telling him you need to calm down. Arsenal or someone like that. I don't know. One of the bigger teams might come in for him anyway. I don't know. But the tricky one I have is that I've got Bowen on the bench and they're playing Norwich away. So I'm thinking of either replacing Ward-Prowse or Dennis or maybe even Luka Dean and bringing in Bowen because Norwich away, if West Ham don't rotate, then that could be a good game for him. And then I've got Ivan Toney and Walker Peters. Again, they're playing each other, but they've both got good fixtures in the sense that they probably both fancy their chances. So, like I say, should have played the bench boost. I've actually still got my triple captain, but I'm actually thinking of holding on to it till next week or the last game week because I know it sounds negative, but I've got a feeling you're going to beat me this game week, and you're going to probably. Have you got any chips left?
You have to wait until I tell you about mine.
Okay. Well, anyway, in my mind, I'm thinking if I've got a lead, I've got a lead going into this next game, this next head-to-head game week, right? So I'm thinking, if I keep my triple captain for the week after, I don't have a specific player I want to make triple captain at the moment. So therefore, next game week or the week after that, that could be the difference between me winning the game week or not. I've got a feeling you're going to play yours this week. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, you never know. I might still want to play mine, and then that might be the difference. You never know, mate. Mind games.
You don't know. Mind games indeed.
What have you got going on?
Mate, your mind games don't change what I'm doing this week, so don't worry about that. So it's fine. So yeah, I'm playing my bench boost this week. My final chip is being played, which will mean that I basically have double game weeks with a lot of players. I'll have double game weeks with 10, 11, 12 lads. Got Edison in goal. Then I've got Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk, Cancelo. And then my only one without a double game week is Collins at Burnley, who are home to Villa. Then midfield, Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, Maddison, Gordon, Jamie Vardy, and Pookie. Now, Vardy's not been starting the last couple of league games. He started in the European game, and chances are he'll do that again. But they're at home at Everton and Norwich. He's definitely starting one of those games, and I can fancy him to get some of there. Then my bench, I've got McGovern in goal, who's not playing at the moment, so I am looking at trying to sort some of there, but it will mean taking a hit, and because I'll have to take two players out to do that. Now, if that's the case, I've got Brandon Williams who'll play. Gelhardt, he's getting minutes for Leeds, but not much at the moment, to be fair. And to be fair, they're playing Arsenal and Chelsea, so I think he'll get a couple of minutes, but nothing much. But the key for me is I could get rid of Cornet, who's on a yellow sort of issue at the moment with a knee injury. I could get rid of Cornet and McGovern, the keeper. I could bring in Pickford and Damari Gray to have three Everton. And, well, Everton, yeah, they're away in both the games, so that doesn't normally work well for them. But they're playing Watford and Leicester, who are not in great form. So that could be an option for me.
Have you had any thoughts on Richarlison, bringing him in?
Yeah, no thoughts on Richarlison. None. Nah, I know he had a decent game week, but nah, I think with Everton, they're not going out there and scoring mass amounts of goals in games. They're getting 1-0 wins at home, or one. I think they haven't scored more than a couple of goals behind that sort of Burnley game. They lost that, so it's for me. He's not. I know he got the goal against Chelsea at the weekend, and he scored at home at Leicester. But I'm not thinking him at the moment. I'd rather go with Vardy at this present time on that one, and I can't afford to have both of them in. So I'm hoping for Vardy. Brendan needs to start playing him. He's back player. He's not had many minutes in him for a while. Get him playing. He's the one who can make your season finish on a high as that lad. And by giving him minutes, hopefully his legs hold out for him. So yeah, that's the thing. So I think the big thing's going to be captain. Who do I pick for captain? Salah, De Bruyne, obviously are front runners as always. But then do I try and be clever? Can Cancelo get a haul in? He's probably due one. You know, Big Virgil at the back. Who knows? So I've got options. I mean, I think, but Salah and De Bruyne are going to be the obvious choices. But and I think they'll both play both games. To be fair, so I think City will be thinking, right, two big wins here. Liverpool dropped some points. It's all over. So it's but we'll see. Time will tell.
Well, I definitely think if you're playing your bench boost this week, then I'm definitely not playing the triple captain. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're doing the right thing, to be fair, because if I win this game week, then we're all square again. I'll probably go above you on overall points scored. But then you've got a great chance of getting the next game week win if you go for 37. You get play your triple captain and get the win. Chances are you'll go back above me on the overall points, and then it goes to the last game shootout, or you sort of save it on 37 and you save it for the last game. And I mean, it's a risk, but I think it's one of those where it depends on what you've got that game week. I suppose I think game week 37 there is a couple of teams with double game weeks. Chelsea being one of them, and that's probably. Is it Chelsea? No, Chelsea don't have it that game week. So yeah, it just depends. It's a tactical move. You're gonna have to play. See what happens.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. Well, are you lucky listeners out there right now? I mean, there's so much to come. We've got our head-to-head. We've got the North versus South League. We've got the North versus South Cup. We've got our actual points difference. It's just, who would have thunk it, eh? Coming down to 3 games to go and you couldn't pick a winner. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And honestly, guys, I swear to God, we have not rigged this in any way to make this happen. I don't think we're that clever to do that.
No, I'd have loved nothing more than to annihilate you this season and this be all over with already. I mean, I've already beaten a mate of mine with a head-to-head league with this team, so I'm like 5 game weeks up. I'm 15 points clear with 3 game weeks left, so I've already rubbed in his face, especially given I've only picked Northern team as well. So he's not very happy about that, but never mind.
Well, at least, yeah. I mean, you can take that winning mentality into this one, and let's just see how we get on. But yeah, we have now got our last feature, which is a quiz. I have absolutely no idea what to expect because State has set this up for me, and yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's something that I'm sure will be a lot of fun. So, State, do you want to let us know what this is all about?
Bit of a mixed bag, actually, to be fair. So I've started it off with a North versus South accumulative. So I'm going to give you 3 goalkeepers from Team North, 3 from Team South, and then 4 defenders from each, 4 midfielders from each, and 2 forwards from each. Because we're playing 4-4-2 this week. We're doing a Mike Bassett style. And I'm going to sort of give you these 3 players, and you're going to just have to guess at who accumulative do you think have got the most amount of points between them this season so far? Okay.
Perfect.
Now, I'm not going to put a fine on you for this because I'm not going to be giving you the points and letting you do quick maths. So I think you just got to, this will just be a bit of fun for you, unless you're absolutely terrible at it, and then I might just take the piss out of you and make you do something. But no fines. So yeah. What I've done with this is I've not made it like, just picking all the best things. So I've not been allowed to pick anyone from, you can't have 2 players from the top 4 clubs in this accumulative. So I've sort of branched it out a bit. So I'll explain that as I go on. So for the goalkeepers, I've picked team at the top, team in the middle, and the team in the bottom, and in the bottom 3 as well. For that. And that's worked out well for both teams. So goalkeeper in Team North is Edison for Man City. You've got Dubravka, Newcastle, and Tim Krul. So those 3 accumulative points is what you've got to think about. And then the Team South is Ramsdale, Sanchez, and Ben Foster. Who do you think's got the most points cumulative in those teams?
All right, so in the North, we had Edison, we had Tim Krul, and who was the other one?
Dubravka and
Dubravka. Foster, Sanchez, and Ramsdale. I think you'd be surprised how many clean sheets Foster's had and Ramsdale's had. I mean, yeah. I'm going to go with the North.
North is correct. 317 points in total for the North 3 and 308 for the Team South.
Okay.
So yeah. Edison's got 144, Ramsdale 127, Krul 88, Sanchez 114, Dubravka 85, Ben Foster's just 67. So yeah, good choice. So with the defense, again, picking like the highest scoring defender from each basically, but I can only have 2 from the top half of the table and 2 from the bottom half, and only 1 from the top 4. So I can't be picking Trent, VVD, and that. So Trent's in there. Then I've got Connor Cody, Matt Target, and Michael Keane. Made sure he got an entry in here. And then Team South defence, you got Gabriel at Arsenal, Matty Cash, Cucurella, and Guehi from Palace. Who's cumulatively got the most there?
It's got to be the South.
Nope. Incorrect. No, I'm afraid not, Heath, this time. You've failed on that one. Team North, 502 in total. Team South, 483. Trent with 202. Cody, 128. Target, 91. And Keane, 81. All the South of over 100, but not quite enough. Gabriel, 134. Cash, 133. Cucurella, 108. Guehi, 108. So not quite. Yeah. Team North, midfielders. We've got Mo Salah, Bruno Fernandes, James Maddison, and Rafinha. And then we've got Team South, Son, Bowen, James Ward-Prowse, and Conor Gallagher. Who's got the most?
Oh, Jesus. Well, yeah. It's tough. I think Son and Salah kind of cancel each other out. And then
I'm going to push you now. 5 seconds.
All right, I'll go South.
Correct. South have 680 to 671. I think the key, Salah's got 256, Son 223, Fernandes 148, Bowen 177, Maddison 135, 148 for Ward-Prowse, Rafinha 132, and Gallagher 132. Like I said, I think the Bowen Fernandes thing was what made it there.
Yeah.
And then the forwards, 2 North forwards, Cristiano Ronaldo and Timu Pukki, and 2 South forwards, Harry Kane and Emmanuel Dennis. This is very close, this one, by the way.
I don't think you would allow me to enjoy any kind of Watford success here, so I'm going to go with the North.
You're incorrect.
Oh.
So, 286 for Ronaldo and Pukki. So Ronaldo's got 158, Pukki 128, and then Kane's got 160, 2 more than Ronaldo, and Dennis has got 132, 4 more than Pukki. So yeah, 286 to 292. So you got that one wrong. So you're 2 out of 2 for that. Have you been smart enough to add up the cumulative for those 2 teams? Was the North more or the South more?
I think the South were more, weren't they?
No, the North were more likely.
So no, the answer to that question is no, I'm not that smart.
No, you weren't. Right, so quick fire last few here for you. Most clean sheets this season, Tim Krul or Ben Foster?
Ben Foster.
No, Tim Krul's got 5, Ben Foster 3.
Damn.
Like you said, no Watford pleasure for you there still. So who's the cult hero leader in points? So at the start of the season, we both had a player who was a 2-point wonder. We had Josh Brownhill, who we called Marcus, and we had Big Musa Sissoko. Who's got the most fantasy points at this point at the moment?
I think it would be Sissoko.
You think wrong again. Musa's on 76, but Brownhill's recent few weeks hauls, he's on 85 now. He's on 85. He just had a 10-point haul. And the week 2 weeks before, he had 11 points. So it would have been Big Musa, but Brownhill's come to the party recently. So who's got the most assists this season in FPL? Jared Bowen or Trent Alexander-Arnold?
I think that one's pretty straightforward. I think that's Bowen, isn't it?
Bowen, correct. Yeah, 14 for Bowen. Trent has got 12. So yeah,
more than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's quite close. Right then, so last couple is an ownership round. So 4 ownership rounds. So goalkeeper wise, who is currently got the higher ownership percentage? Ben Foster, Aaron Ramsdale, or Ederson?
I think it's Foster because he's so cheap. I reckon everyone's got him as their backup keeper.
Very true. 19.8%, and it's 18 for Ramsdale. Ederson 12.1. So yeah, that's the current one.
Finally, a Watford success.
Yeah, well done, you. Well done. Defenders wise, Cancelo or Trent?
That's a good one. I think it might be Trent, because I think, yeah, I'll go with Trent.
Not quite. Cancelo 40.7, Trent 38.8.
I assume, thinking about it, that maybe the Trent owners have kind of dropped down to Cancelo to get some money back, maybe. But yeah, I can't imagine that Cancelo was that heavily owned a couple of weeks ago. But people are trying to make the most of the money, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree, mate. I agree. So last two. Saka, Son, or Mount? Who's owned by the most?
I'm going to go with Saka.
Correct. Well done. 29.4%. Son 26.4. Mount 23. Good work. Good work. And then finally, Antonio, Ronaldo, Dennis, or Kane?
I would say Kane.
No, Dennis. 28.4%
Really?
on Dennis
Still?
at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah. Massive. So yeah, mate, that completes the quiz. Well done. I think you did all right. I think you were about 50% there. Well done.
I don't know if that's patronizing or genuine, but I'll take it either way.
Brilliant. Ah, well, good stuff, mate. Well, no, it's been good. Thank you very much for letting me do another quiz with you. No punishment this time round.
No,
So don't worry about that.
happy days, mate. Happy days. To be honest, I'm pretty disappointed. To be honest, I think that I could have done a lot better, but at the same time, it is what it is. And yeah, it's been a fantastic podcast as usual. We've thrown a lot in there this week, and I hope you guys enjoy it. There's just, like I said earlier, we've got so much to get excited about. This game week's coming up. We've got, like I said, we've got the cup, we've got the league, we've got our head-to-head, we've got our points difference. So, guys, there's no excuses. You have to join us for the next couple of podcasts, and yeah, we'll keep you updated with how it's going. But this game week, it's going to be a big one. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who have got a lot of chips outstanding, and there's going to be a lot of expectations to get some big points, maybe even triple figures. So all I say, guys, is, good luck for this game week. If you do want to get in contact with us, just remember that we're both on Twitter, and we've got our North versus South Twitter page as well, which is at FPLMVS. State is on there, and he's at FPL_Northerner. And I am at FPL Southerner, all one word. So please get in contact with us. I would really like to know how, the best head-to-head strategy when it comes to chips, if you've got all three chips left over. So if you've got a bench boost, triple captain, and a free hit, how to attack the last three fixtures of a head-to-head if you're going to go into the playoff. Be really interested to know, guys. So please let me know if you can think of any good suggestions.
Begging.
Exactly. But yeah, it just leads me to say, good luck in the game week, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you, State, in fact.
Same to you, pal. Same to you. Enjoy.